All right. Thanks for joining us tonight with Finding Our Voice. I am the one and only Tot Carter from Talking with Tot Podcast. Go ahead and go, Kayla, while Mikey is getting herself back on.
Okay, hi, my name is Kayla from Kalia's Dream Cosmetics.
All right, JD.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jadisha. I'm a personal development coach.
All right. And we're just, there you go, Mikey. It's your turn.
Hey everyone, I'm Mikey of Mikey Lee's Holistic Hair. I got a lot going on in my background, y'all. It's dinner time right now in my house, so you know.
It's all right.
So I
So,
might be in and out and muting my mic so you don't hear all my background.
all right. So
But
let's
I'm
tell
here.
everybody tonight where we're all from, like where area that we're in, so that they'll kind of know that we are spread it out. So I am coming to you guys. I know y'all can hear this little, as someone told me today, my accent. But I am coming to you guys from Alabama.
I'm coming to you from Nevada.
I'm coming to you from California.
All right. I am from Omaha, Nebraska originally, but I am currently in Houston, Texas.
All right, guys. So, guys, we do this podcast twice a month, where we just come together and just have good girl women conversations. So tonight we will be discussing, is marriage a contract or not? So let's get into it. Kayla, you smiling. You want to go first?
Mm-mm. I want to know what everybody else's opinion is first.
Well, I'm gonna be. Ooh, I think I'm the only one here who has been married and divorced. Hmm.
That means you have a lot of insight.
Right.
I don't know how good though, Jadisha. I don't know. Okay, so I think that marriage is so. Yeah, I do have something to say. I think marriage is a beautiful thing, and I do want to be married again. So yeah. Now for me, I don't think it's a contract. I don't. I don't think it's a contract.
And
Yeah,
why is
I don't
that?
want my marriage to be a contract.
And why?
Why do you feel that way?
Huh? Why I don't want it to be a contract?
Yeah.
Because I want to grow with a person. I definitely want to make sure that the person is able to take care of themselves at this late in the game in terms of age wise. You know, again, I'm coming from that tender age of 25 times two plus one. I'm just tickling myself tonight. But anyway, I want him to be, established, because people my age now, they need to already be established and pretty much working on retirement and things like that, and just traveling the world and that type of thing. So I don't want a contract. I mean, but I don't want him.
Define contract. When you say like what do you feel contract means?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
my
don't.
light.
I would think that, okay. So when I think of a contract, I would just think that it's kind of like you're good on paper, but um maybe you don't have love in the relationship, and so it's just kind of a contract where you just, hey, this is what we're gonna do. Um, I know that we can probably have a good retirement or a good life together, and so we're in it because of, what we have to offer each other. Maybe is what I
Got
would think
you.
that a contract would be. Um, I don't know. So y'all could probably tell me. I should have Googled that. Like let me
No,
Google.
I think it's good because I think
I
it's
like
all,
that.
perspective. So, I mean, Google's gonna tell you like exact terms, but like it's still gonna be how you feel. So, I mean, there's no wrong answer. But for me, I'm gonna have to. It might be unpopular opinion, but I do feel like it is sort of a contract. Like I feel like it's a mix because uh especially nowadays, you kind of not kind of you have to make sure that you're going into a situation that you want to be in, that is fulfilling, that is fruitful, um, that is beneficial. So that's why I say definitely it is about the love, it is about the connection, the compatibility, but I think it is very much also a contract.
Yeah, I can see that. I get what you're saying because you have to think about it. It is a marriage license. So you really are saying to the world that I am in a union with this person, which means that you didn't set your vows. So um, you're expecting for that person to take it serious. And I think a lot of times, when you sign a contract, whether it's for a car loan or whatever, it's like it's just, I guess the way of saying that this is what you have to lose if you don't pay your payments per se.
Not the payments.
Yeah, the payment plan.
Well, I gave an example of a car, so like if you don't make them payments, they're gonna come get that car.
That is
Yeah.
true.
But you know what I mean. You don't know what I mean. But what I'm saying is, you expect for the other party to um, abide by some things that y'all have set ground rules for your relationship in terms of how you want your relationship to go and the things that you discuss when you realize that you want to move forward into a serious relationship with a person that ends up in marriage. Then you do definitely have to talk about finances, credit, long terms. Like I was just watching the other day. I don't know if you guys watch Ready to Love.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't? Well,
I've seen it partially.
really? So it just came out where the couple, Rashad and Simone, well, Rashad came out and he just told that he was $250,000 in debt. And so they had to eventually postpone their wedding due to it. And then finally, I guess he had to come clean and just let her know that he wasn't being honest with her. Nothing was in his name, and he was spending money that he didn't have. And so all the while she was looking at the fact that he had a Porsche that was very expensive, and she felt like, you're driving a Porsche, you're driving our wedding. And so I think even when you love a person, and I think they did pull each other's credit report just because she is an attorney,
Okay.
it still did not cover everything that she needed because he was still living a lie that she kind of, I guess she started to see some things, but she just didn't know everything that he was holding on to in terms of not being totally honest. I don't think he's a bad guy at all because it seems like one of his good characters is that he's loyal and he's not a cheater. But that's great and all. But if you are lying, that's not good because I can't trust you for the things that I need to know about you. Like when you're making poor decisions financially, that makes a difference. And so I think you just have to look very deep before you leap, is what this who is that divorce court lady, Maybelline
I
used to
love
say that on her
Maybelline.
show. So it was very unfortunate because basically Simone was in tears. She just felt like she wanted her happy ever after, and that he's really her best friend and a good guy, but he just had so many things about him that he hadn't addressed yet. And so it spilled over into their relationship, just his poor management of his finances, and then also too about really how he felt about himself. Because you have to think about it, if you're not feeling really good about yourself, then you can't really be honest with other people about where you really are in life. So he was wearing fake jewelry, rent out his car, just a lot of silly stuff.
So the
Whew.
funny part is that he thought that he was going to be able to continue on lying and go further in a relationship. Like if you're supposed to be getting married or moving towards that direction, you're supposed to be coming together to be one. So if
Right.
we're coming together to be one, that means we're combining households, we're combining finances, we're combining debt, we're combining everything. So I feel like a lot of people in this time are not really honest with themselves or each other. And I don't feel like there's a lot of love right now. Like it's a lot of self. Like, what can I get? Like a lot of women get married just so that they can stick it out and get divorced and get alimony. Like they go into it, like with that thought. Like, yeah, he has some money. I'm gonna stick it out for a little while, and then I'm gonna divorce him, and then I'm gonna be set.
Mm. That's sad.
Yeah.
I
So
think
I don't think it's about love a lot anymore.
wow. Mm.
Right.
You smiling, Kate. What you want to say?
No, I looked at the chat, but ain't nothing me off. Okay. Me personally, I think that marriage isn't a contract, but I think that people make it one. It depends on who's getting married because I don't originally marriage was supposed to be about two people actually having love for each other, actually wanting to build that family together. Now it's becoming how much money does he got, how much money does she got, what kind of car they driving, who's doing this, who's doing that. It's not as emotional as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And again, I personally feel like it's both just because, I mean, I think we've all been in situations where it was just love only and maybe some of those other factors that weren't covered, like Tot was saying with the expenses and the credit. If those conversations had been had versus just going in blindly based off solely love, then maybe that could have been avoided for her.
Right.
Yeah.
You, Jay, you're very right because I don't want to get all into nobody's business, but I mean, I don't want someone to just come if they into my life if they don't kind of have similar spending habit as me. I'm a conservative, but at the same time, I do like nice things, and but I don't see myself making some purchases that some people will make. Like for instance, I like a nice luxury car. I own a nice luxury car. Okay. But I am not going to buy a car for $3,000 a month. Who does that? It was a Porsche. Like, who makes a decision to spend $3,000 on a car and you're not rich? Like, that's a lot of money for a car note. Then you got the insurance. Not to mention, this vehicle, you can be on the freeway. And actually, what actually happened was he took it to the dealership because this is what she said. And one of those, the the trucks that transport the cars hit the car and damaged it. And so then he had to fix it. So then he was out of all of this money on repairs to a car that was 1 month old. That you have a car note of 3,000. Now, if it's 3,000 a month, that car is very expensive. Very. And then he had other cars too.
Oh, wow.
So I want to say he had, but he was a car salesman. So that's another
Okay,
reason why,
okay.
because he was going to flip it. But even with
Okay.
that, make smart decisions because $3,000, I'm sorry, unless you are the CEO of your own company that's producing revenue, that was stealing.
I think that you gotta put Mikey back in.
Okay.
But I agree. Like, I see what she means by you got our wedding sitting in your car. Like, you're in debt, but you're not really in debt if you get rid of some of those overly expensive things that you really can't afford.
Right.
Like, you're well off, but you're not rich enough to afford that $3,000 a month,
Right.
plus whatever other bills you're paying. So, and that's why I think that people, when you get married for material things, you should already expect it not to work out. Why? Because the moment that they run they run out of those things, then you're gonna be ready to leave. You're gonna be ready to get a
Did
just
I
in this
click
Mm,
her
because
out?
we make a
okay,
Oh,
what's
certain amount
it's
of
our
happening?
money.
internet.
Okay.
Because we make a certain amount of money. So once I lose my job or if something happens, I really don't have that life partner that'll stick by me and help me through the tough times because you were only here for what I had.
Right. And you don't want nobody to be with you because of reasons like that. Um, and
I'm gonna
well,
stick beside it. Like I'm
you
gonna
said
stick
what?
beside it. I'm gonna stick beside both because I I mean, I'm just being honest. I genuinely feel that it's both because like for me it's about the potential, right? If someone is showing you that they can handle their finances, they can handle their credit, they can do certain things, they can hold down the house, be it the man or the woman, that gives you peace of mind, right? That means
Yeah.
that this is somebody that I feel comfortable building with. So if they do fall off, somebody like that you're not worried about because you know they can bounce back. If you got to hold it down for a little bit, cool, but you know they got it in them to get back to that spot. But
Right.
if they don't have that at all and you don't foresee that ever coming, like I'm good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
mean,
agree with that.
I think that when me personally, I just would marry for love because I want to make sure that we're always good. I mean, I know we're gonna have our rough patches. I know things aren't gonna be rainbows and sunshine all the time, but I want to know that that person is there for me and not just here of because of my the type of car or the type of house that I have. You know, because then it's like, okay, so what if you there's somebody else that has more than me? So are you going to leave me to be with them because they have more?
mhm.
Possibly.
I just feel like sometimes people aren't really thinking about what they're doing. I don't think that marriage should be a contract, but I like I said, I definitely believe that people make it when they're not getting married for the right reasons.
Mhm. Right.
Like some people get married just because he got a life insurance policy and he kind of old.
That's
That's what I'm
crazy.
saying.
That's
Around that
crazy.
long.
I think it comes
I'm
down
Yeah.
definitely
to
getting married for love.
Well, good.
I think it comes down to compatibility too, because like
Yeah.
if you do like I forgot who was just mentioning that some people get married just to wait it out and then leave, that's unfortunate. But like when it comes down to compatibility, if you really genuinely have that as well, then I think that you're not going to just look for the person with more. There's always going to be somebody with more. There's always going to be
That's
somebody
true.
with something different, something extra. But do you have that compatibility with that person? Is that the person that you really see fits with your goals, your vision? You know what I'm saying? Does that person have the same belief system as you? Can y'all actually build and sustain it? Like that's what I'm thinking about because when I think of marriage, I think of building. I think of
Right.
legacy. And so
Me
that's
too.
why I say if I don't see certain things then I'm good, not to be harsh, but because I'm thinking of building and legacy and I'm thinking of my future children. Like I want to make sure that I'm doing all that I can to make
Right.
sure that I am, building security for them. And I'm not trying to be in a situation where I am trying to prove like my loyalty and I'm in a situation where I'm down bad or I'm, can't have the legacy or the building the life that I want, because I want them to know that I'm there for them. I'm there for you, but you need to understand that we're building. We're a
Right.
team.
For me, I think it's a feeling of being content with the person that you're with. Like that's what makes you not really care about, well, maybe they have a little bit more or maybe they're a little bit better when you're content with the
Mhm.
person that you're with. And like you said, I can build with this person. I know this person has me. It's just I don't think a lot of people have that feeling of content, especially a lot of women, because women are hypergamous, so women usually are looking for the better, deal. And a lot of women can't be content with what they have because they're always, looking like, oh, well, he has a better car or he is in a better position, instead of being content with what they are with now, and let's build and let's make this work. And a lot of people, they don't know how to stick things through. Like, people break up with one, argument, or he got
Right.
on my nerves, or I didn't like the way he did this, and it's over. Like, people don't even try to work things out. It's just like it's I think like social media and dating apps and all of this, I think it's made it too easy for us to where we don't
Mhm.
have to stick it out, because all I have to do is keep swiping left. Like, you got on my damn nerves, I'm gonna go swipe left and go meet some more people, or
Right.
I'm gonna go post a picture on Facebook like this, and then I'm gonna have a whole bunch of people under it trying to get at me. So it's like, you don't
You're
have to
right
be
though.
content.
And that is what has changed the dating, because people don't have to, unless they really like you, unless you have a real good connection. Other than that, if it's just kind of surface a little bit, not saying that you want to just be on surface level with someone, but they're not going to put up with you requiring them to act a certain way, because they're going to say, oh, okay, so Tasha don't want to do whatever. Oh, okay. Back on the app.
She
Right.
will. Right,
And
exactly.
then this time it's like, oh, she 35, Tasha's 51. It's that too.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that a lot of women, especially, I think that everybody looks, I think that everybody sees what their other person lacks, but I think that it's how you handle it. You can think that another person is handsome or beautiful, but it's what you do with that. Are you going to stay true to the relationship, or are you going to act on what you're feeling? And I feel like a lot of people don't have that self control, and the ones that do figure it out way too late in life.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
A lot
And
of people don't
actually,
have self-control. But I don't feel like there's a lot of love out there. Like, just think about it, especially you, Todd. Like, when we were younger, there was R&B. You can name a whole bunch of R&B artists from when we were younger. Like, how many can you name for right now?
mhm.
R&B artists.
I
Nobody's
can
in
name
love.
5.
Nobody's in love anymore.
Yeah,
I
I
Everybody's
don't
can
in
see
think
that.
love.
they don't even think
Ah,
about love
I don't
anymore.
know.
It's
I mean,
about
they have love songs, but it's mainly about, it's not the actual connection unless you're going into the real R&B artist. Other than that, you get the sexual part
right,
of the love, not the
Right. Not the
actual.
love part, the sexual part, the
right.
Right. I mean, don't get
intimate.
me wrong, there's a
I want
few
to lay
artists
you
out there that
down.
touch on it. They do. But for the most part, it's not like how if you go back to 2000s and
And the 80s
further,
and the 90s and the
where most of the
70s,
music was about
love
either
songs.
breaking up or being in love. That was all you got.
Right.
But you got to be in love to be able to fall out of it.
True.
This
Yeah.
is true.
And sometimes people are just not there. It's like they'll like you. And yeah, but you haven't gotten to, if you stay surface, then you got to really just meet people, and you got to build a strong foundation. And how you build a strong foundation is by becoming that person's friend. You have to leave all that other stuff out of the mix in order to establish a real connection
I agree. That's what I did.
before, because if you let other stuff get in there, then you tend to be motivated by other things opposed to, because sometimes you may decide that all this other stuff is what you like, but then you realize, oh, he has the worst or she has the worst personality ever, or you just don't like them as a person. Like everything that they do is absolutely what you do not like in a partner. And I can name a few. Being, and don't get me wrong, I'm one of those people. I hold my own, and I do need a man though. But I don't like a person who is just trying not to share. And that's me saying it in a nice way, because I'm not like that. I'm a giver. If I want you to have something, I'm gonna give it to you, just because I want you to have it, because that's what I want. But you have some people who are just so stingy. They're trying their best not to spend money. That is such a turn off to me.
Yes.
And even to this, it don't even have to be monetary. I don't like a person when it's like they may know something in terms of, I can think of an incident, but I will not say the incident. It's so petty. It was about a no. Okay.
No.
Well, even if somebody withhold information that you could just tell somebody, just say like if you had connection on pizza, whereas somebody is bringing you, I'm recording the right type of pizza, and they know about all of it, but they just trying to hold all the little piece of information to themselves. I don't like people like that. It's just like, I'm gonna tell you all about the pizza. If you eat pork, I'm gonna let you know, hey, it's got sausage on it, pepperoni. Hey, I don't eat pork, but if you want it, it's a meat lovers. I just don't like people when they're not willing to share, willing to, it's just like they're gonna hold everything to themselves because they feel like if they let you in on it, I don't know.
I kind of started with my relationship. I started it off. I had it to where we were both being brutally honest with each other about what it is.
I remember when she told me that too. I like that idea.
We can make it. We can make a conscious decision on if we still want to be with each other or not after we lay everything out there, because I don't want to waste time and you figure out things over time and then you decide that this ain't what you want to know. We're going to get this out the way. So then that way I can be like, well, you knew what it was. Like, you knew what you got
Yeah,
into.
honesty is always good. But I want to piggyback off the friendship thing. I feel like when you start off as friends, there's kind of not as much pressure. Like when you meet someone and you're trying to get with them or they're trying to get with you, everybody's trying to impress each other.
Right.
Your representative steps forward and then
Exactly.
you got to wait a
Representative.
couple months so you can see who the real person is. But when
Hmm.
you're just friends, there's not really that pressure to impress each other. There's not really that pressure to put on. You guys are just really friends. So you
Hmm.
guys are really honest with each other because you're just friends. There's no reason for me to have to lie. And I think that always works best. I've done to just jump in, like we're so infatuated, we're so,
Right.
and you jump in, and then, like you said, a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, you're like, I don't even really like this person.
Right.
But that's because you rushed. But when you're friends, you already know who this person is. You don't know them in a relationship because you're not, you haven't had that experience with them, but you generally know them as a person because
Right.
you're their friend. So now you just have to get to know the relationship form of them because people are totally different in a friendship than in a relationship.
All right.
Yeah.
And we have a comment from
I was
Dream.
just about to touch on her.
I'm glad y'all see the comments because I don't. I was just about
I
to ask
don't
you.
either. I'm
You
like,
have
I don't
to
see
see
I
no
the
see there's three
comments.
comments
people watching though.
right in
You
the private chat.
I can't see how many people are watching, but I can see the
It's three.
comment. It's where the chat is. You click comments on the other side.
Okay.
But Dream Marie said there's a book called The Five Love Languages, which I read that book before.
Yeah.
Oh, I already read it. I made my king. We took the quiz and everything.
Right. And she was just saying that it's important to touch on your mate's love languages and
Yeah.
make sure that they understand that you guys understand how each other needs to be loved. And I agree with that because you might think that you're loving someone correctly,
Right.
and they don't feel that way, and you're like, but I did this, this, and this, and this, and this, but that's not their love language.
Man, do you know how many times in couples sessions in life coaching that was what the problem was? Not that you guys don't love each other. You obviously love each other, but you're not speaking each other's love languages.
Right.
So if my love language is acts of service, but
Mhm.
all you keep doing is bringing me gifts, that's not what my love language is. So now you're like, I just keep bringing flowers and I keep bringing this and I keep doing this, and she doesn't appreciate it because you're not speaking her language. You're speaking,
Right.
most of the time we speak our love language to other
Exactly.
That's
people
it.
because
That's it.
that's
They-
what we
Exactly.
know.
So
Instead
like
of,
Pat was saying, when she said that she was giving and that person wasn't giving back, she was doing what she wanted, but that person didn't pick up on it because that
Right.
may not have, even though she was doing that, that may or may not have been their love language. Who
Right.
knows? Like, hopefully
Right.
it was, but there's a chance that it could not have been. But also,
I
Sheena,
don't think
that
it
girl
was.
Howard says they certainly are different in friendships than in relationships, and I think that's a good point because
Hey, Sheena.
like
That's my
like
girl at work, y'all. She was on my latest episode. So y'all go out there and watch No Pity Party.
Hey, Sheena.
Hey.
so like
Hey,
Mikey was
girl.
saying too, like in the relationship, how with the friendship there's no pressure, but I
Yeah.
think it's important to know that you're always going to be changing and evolving too. So you got to be careful with that. So that's why it's like the compatibility factor. Are we
Mhm.
giving each other space and room to grow? Because it's inevitable, it's going to happen. So,
Right.
do we have the capacity for each other and that genuine love for each other that when we decide to evolve and change, can we deal with that? Am I going to be able to withstand the person that you're becoming or that you may become?
Right. And me personally, with the friendship thing, I think that it can go both ways. It just depends. I feel like it depends on maturity levels
Mhm.
because you could get somebody that's not honest with you, that doesn't even shoot, even in friendships, friends lie. I mean,
Right.
like, but me personally, I think that even if we start off dating, it's okay because I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna lay everything out there. You get your feel of it. We're gonna talk about the negatives first, and then I'm gonna let you know what the great things about me are.
Right.
But
I will use that approach going forward because I've
That's
never.
a good approach.
Yeah.
plus, on top of that, you learn a lot about a person quickly, especially of how they tell what happened. A lot of people, when they trying to tell you what happened, they don't tell their parts in it. So I look for somebody that's going to tell me their parts and the other person's part. Don't just tell me what and touching on the love language thing. For I noticed that when me and my boyfriend did it, we were opposite on one of the things. My big one was words of affirmation. His big one was physical touch, but his second one was words of affirmation, and my second one.
That's funny. That's ours too.
Really?
Yes, mine is words of affirmation first, and then touch, and his is touch, and then words of affirmation.
Right. So when we discovered that, that's when we were like, okay, so we have to figure out this part now. So then that way it can be both. So I definitely agree with my godmom that you have to know somebody's love language.
Right. I like quality time. So you have to make time for me.
That's
That's
my
my love
third.
language. Mhm.
Right, I'm down with that one too. I think I don't really care about gifts.
Yeah, a gift is not that's I mean, I like an occasional gift or whatever and
Me
stuff like that.
too.
But I'm more of quality time and acts of service. When you if you know it's something that needs to be done and you go do it, oh my God, that just lights me up. So like if you know my grass need cutting, which it does right now. And
By the way,
Hint, hint, fellas. Hint, hint.
Come mow her
Hint,
lawn.
hint, come cut her grass.
When you go out there, you cut the grass. I'm like, man, I'm looking at you. I want to bring you some water first of all while you're out there cutting it, and I'm like, here you go, boy, you need some water.
Hey.
Say,
Are
hey,
you thirsty?
it's my baby girl. Hey
Hi.
guys,
Hi.
my little Addison. But yeah, so yeah, that's how I am.
I would say I prefer acts of service, for sure. Words of affirmation is important, but definitely actions as well. Food, like that, just bring me food, like cook me food, whatever.
Here she
Just
go with
feed
the
me.
food
Like
again.
I'm just
JD
like,
should like just
if
feed her.
somebody
She in
brings
there.
me snacks or dinner or something, I'm like, this person really cares for me. This person loves me so much. Like food really touches my heart. So
Right.
Mine too. I
Right.
feel it.
And with me, shoot, you want to give me a gift? Bring me some food. Bring me some tacos,
man, listen,
maybe
Or
a
cook
burrito.
for me, because it's so
you
sexy
could do
when
either
someone
one.
cooks for
Cook.
you and put some
Ooh,
love into it.
You can
Ooh,
order
that's
yes.
it.
so.
You can
Because
Uber
he in
it.
there cooking for me right now. It's so sexy. I
And then
love
they
it.
decorate the little plate for you to try
And
to
then
make
bring you the
it.
plate. I love it.
And then
Right.
they bring you your favorite juice on top of it, or whatever
And do
you
the
like
little
to drink.
mixture, like I know you like the little juice in the soda, babe. I mixed it together. Ooh, you so sexy. Yes, I
Sheena said,
agree.
okay, food is mine too.
Listen,
Who Sheena said
food is
that?
serious.
I agree.
I feel like food is every girl's love language.
Come
I
on.
rarely hear women say, "Oh no, don't bring me food." No, no, no. Come on, bring
Bring me
that plate.
food,
And
bring
eat
me
on her.
snacks, bring me snacks. I like cookies and like just feed me.
Feed me.
Be good.
Simple.
Feed
Don't
me.
look
Honestly,
at
You
all
don't
our
ask for
women.
much.
Feed me and say
when
nice things to me.
when I was pregnant with my daughter, how arguments would get resolved. He'd bring me some Popeyes biscuits because for some reason I was craving Popeyes biscuits when I was pregnant, and some watermelon. And he'd bring me my little lemonade from Del Taco. That
Oh,
ended the
they got good
argument,
lemonade.
girl.
Oh, my bad. I'm like,
Girl,
they
Sheena
got
said
good
it's the Twix
lemonade.
for me.
it's the what?
It's the Twix for me. That's what Sheena said.
Oh,
Mm,
Sheena like a Twix.
Okay,
Oh man.
yes.
I heard that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So, oh yeah.
But
Not us talking
I'm
about
down with the
food.
communication, though. I don't think a lot of people tell the truth. Like how you said, put it all out on the table. Like for me, when I was dating, that would be like a deal breaker for me. Like if we start dating and then 2, 3 months down the later, like things are just like coming out the woodwork, I'm good. Because I want you to put everything on the table. If you got a wife, you got a baby mama around the corner, like you've been to prison. Like I want everything out on the table and give me the opportunity to decide if I want to move forward because that's how I move. But people would, like you said, then you find out they live with their mama, they ain't got no job. Like, like wait a
Well,
minute.
what I always say is that everything that you want to know about a person is going to always be there right there in the beginning. It's just whether or not you choose to see it.
Pick up.
And I looked at every
Ignoring them red flags.
I looked at every relationship that I've had and that was significant. And I said everything that I needed to know about that person, they gave it to you right there, whether they said it or it was something going on in their life. And it may seem harmless, which most of the time it is like, but it ended just like it started. It's like, oh,
Yes.
all this
Mhm.
That's what my aunt told me years ago. She said it's gonna end just how it starts. However they are in the
Yeah.
beginning, that's how they. If you don't like them right now, then don't even go forward.
I
right.
had a lady tell me at church one day. She said, "Look at how a man is towards the female women, the women in his life, his mom, his sister. How does he treat them?" And I didn't take heed to that because I thought
My
the woman
daddy
was
told
crazy.
me that.
Yeah.
She was like in her 70s, and I thought she was one of those women that was losing it up there.
No, she's totally right. My
So
daddy told me that growing up.
Mhm.
now looking back on it, I'm like, dang. I
And
should have
seeing him
listened
with
to
his
that
mother,
lady.
when his mother comes out here, because he's from Chicago, so his mother, she'll come, to Vegas, and she'll stay for like 2 weeks and make her little rounds. She'll stay here with us for, a couple days, come back and visit. But just to watch how he is with his mother, like he makes sure he cooks for her. You need anything, mom, it's just real sex. It's sexy watching him be with cater to his mother.
Right.
It is. My boyfriend, I came to his house, he made sure me, his mom, and his sister didn't need nothing else before he decided to do whatever it was he was going to do. And also, Dream Marie said that not only just ignoring the red flags, how we're quick to keep giving them chance after chance.
And then we'll explain the red flags away. We'll see them, and then we'll make excuses for it. We see it plain as day, and then we'll make excuses for the person.
It's funny when you think about it. It's funny when you think about it, but when you're in the moment, it never really clicks that that's what you're doing. But after the relationship, I should have known when you did this.
But you just like
you
a
do
person.
kind of know, but you just kind of like.
You just like
maybe
you
try to give them
maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe
you try to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe I was just overreacting.
Right. Maybe I was just tripping, or maybe I'm seeing red flags from the past and I'm putting it on them. Like, you just get to explaining it away instead of just paying attention.
Like a whole red flag.
Dream Marie said, let's talk about how we're quick to tell young men, don't cry. And she said, as a mother of 5 sons, I tell them to express themselves, cry, or take time out. And I agree, because a lot of these men don't know how to express themselves at all. So they can be going through something mentally.
Right.
And you have no clue. You running down your problems because we're used to talking about our feelings. And they're sitting there with the load on them that they never even talked about, and then they blow up in the end, and we like, well, you didn't say nothing when we.
They're at an emotional detriment because they have a mother that probably didn't have a father in the house, so she's trying to play mommy and daddy, and then you tell your son you're the man of the house and he's only 10, 11, 12 and doesn't know what a man is, and you say, like she said, men don't cry, suck it up, men don't cry, and then they become grown men who, like, they don't know how to express their emotions because you never allowed them that as a child. Like my son, I allow him to have emotions.
And
men cry. I think it depends on the unit, because like if you come from a family that won't let you do that, or they specifically say don't do that, that makes a difference. But if you feel safe to do that, then you'll be okay. But not only just in your family, in your relationship, like as a woman, you kind of set the tone. Like sometimes it's not always like what we do, but like what we say. Like we may not tell them specifically, like, I don't think a man should be crying. Sometimes they can pick up on it. Like by other conversations we've had or things like that. So I think it's just important to kind of set the tone.
Or I've seen some women talk about the man for crying. Like he showed the emotion and she's like, oh, you crying like a little baby? Like once a man shows emotion to you and you like shut that down, he's probably not going to be emotional with you ever again. Right. Like once you make him feel uncomfortable, it's a wrap.
If you don't
provide a safe space for him, and guys will just revert back. They will just, you gotta have it.
And women tend to be, and my boyfriend actually showed me a video about this last night. The lady, she's like, a lot of times women come from a defense. We're already defensive before they even start telling you what their feelings are. We're automatically like, oh, well, that's not true. And we do it to each other too. It's like, oh, well, that's not true. We're very defensive when they're trying to talk to us. And also, Sheena said, I told my kids, cry till you get tired, just let it out.
Right. Yeah.
If it hurts, cry. I tell my son, if it hurts, cry. Men cry. I saw my father cry, and that was the best man I ever know. And I didn't think of him as any less of a man.
I think it shows strength.
It makes me feel bad when I see a man cry.
I know, don't it just hurt your soul? It hurts your soul, huh?
Right. I'm actually happy for them that they can do that, like that they can
Me
get it out.
too.
And then
I
also,
don't really like to
it
see
makes
it.
me
I'll be
feel good
honest.
that
I
they're
don't like to see
comfortable
it.
enough to do that in my presence. That means I'm setting the tone. That means they know that they can do that in front of me because I'm looking at them as a human being. Like, yes, you can do that. Yes, that's acceptable. No, I'm not judging you. And if you don't cry, you scare me because I don't know what you're holding in and when you're gonna pull it.
JD should say that again for the people in the back. When I was dating and I met a man that was like, I don't cry. Well, I can't talk to you, sir. Because that means
No.
you don't have no emotions, you don't have no feelings, you don't have nothing, and you might could kill me in the middle of the night or something. I'm good. I'm good. You don't cry at all, like you don't have no feelings, no emotions, like nothing made a little tear. You ain't gotta be crying like a baby, but ain't nothing hit the little corner of your eye.
You ain't get something in your eye
You know
like
how
these men say.
you're
Oh my
watching that movie and it hits you, and every now and again some people might get the little. You didn't even get that. It didn't hit you at all with the one little tear.
God. Like you had a one streaming. No, all
No,
right.
No, nothing. Little
that's
water where you
hilarious.
had to do this in the
Look, I'm about
corner a
to
little
cry right
bit.
now laughing, okay? That's
No,
hilarious.
a dude actually commented on her post and said, "Well, I don't need to cry in front of anybody. I cry in private or to my homeboys. That's why when y'all asking us what we doing when we hanging out with our friends, 9 times out of 10 we talking about a lot of emotional stuff." And I realized it because
I
I sit
believe
on
that.
the phone and I listen and I pretend like I'm not listening, but I'm listening.
Me too, girl. I be all up
And
in it
girl,
like
these men be pouring their hearts out to each other, and I be
They
feeling
do.
bad. Like,
they
Yeah.
do.
are you okay, Steve?
Woo 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 woo. I'm just saying that they
Guys are
do.
emotional too, though. They really are. They
They're
probably
more
are.
emotional than us because they're not allowed to show it because we have this picture of the protector, the provider, and I guess that means no emotion.
I guess. I
How can you
guess.
provide
But
if you're not safe within yourself?
even warriors cry when they get shot in their leg. That's a different type
Girl,
of pain.
like we're all humans, like you said. Like we all humans, we all have feelings and emotions. And if you're not able to cry, then I am not able to be in your presence. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
Cry
can't do it.
now.
that's
I
a red
can't do it.
flag. You don't cry, red flag.
Right.
Yeah, that's the biggest red flag across the states. Like that thing is all the way across the state.
But you also got to watch out for the ones that cry too, because sometimes they'll do what females do and use that when they don't want to talk about something. You know, when females they start yelling and you just start crying because you know you lost the argument, but you don't.
Now I don't want to see him crying. I just don't. I'm sorry, y'all. It just makes me feel some type of way.
They be all right. They gotta get it out. They be all right.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't have a
okay.
problem
Go
with it.
do that. But I'm gonna need them to go somewhere and do it, not in front of me.
But
But then
listen, you don't want
that's
to
not
be
a
that
but then you're
space.
not being his
You
safe
don't want to be
space,
that
Ty.
safe space.
You're not being
I'm
a
over
safe
the world. You
space.
Tell them
Then,
I don't
then
say
you know
space.
you get mad because he around his
Here.
homeboys all the time.
Right.
Because honestly, where are you going? If you ain't coming here, where are you going? No,
Where
they
if
coming
you're
here.
not his how about if you're not his safe space, who's going to be?
Come.
Because
I
my
think
dad
That's
that's
used to
right. The
always
woman
tell
doesn't
me,
matter.
what you not gonna do, the next woman will. If
find
your
it
man
in your
say he wants
female
you to
friend,
hang
find it in your
from a
homeboy.
chandelier
Oh
by
my
your big
gosh.
toe,
I
then
am
that's what
done.
you need to do.
If you stub your big toe and you need to get
Mikey, all
cry,
right.
baby.
Probably I ain't got one, but anyway.
Oh
Well, you gotta be a safe space. You can't make him feel uncomfortable to show emotion around you.
True. You're
She
right.
said, but anyway.
I thought about some stuff.
She's like, right.
Because I know we were watching something and he got a little tear in his eye. I was like, "Oh, baby, that one hit you." He's like, "Yeah, that one hit me a little bit."
See,
But you
I
should be
ask
able to
that
do
question
that.
and I get, oh no, I just got a little dust in my eye.
My daddy used to do that to me. He'd be like, "I think my allergies is acting up." Like, okay, Dad, all right, I got you.
You need a tissue so that
Right,
you
then
can
you
know
go get
what's
you
in
a
your
tissue for
eye.
your allergies.
Oh,
Wow.
goodness.
Yeah. Okay. All
But
right.
anyways, you know,
Okay.
Is there another question out there?
yes. Question.
Y'all, I done had so many technical difficulties tonight. You see, I had to end up in my guest bedroom. Like, there's so much going on in the other room. It's ridiculous. Like, he's in there in the kitchen clinging stuff. The kids is arguing. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, all day, y'all been good. And as soon as I'm going to do the sister circle, everybody got things to do in the room I'm in.
The dog was barking. I was like, oh Lord.
You know what?
You know you
I
want to
used
be a
do
part
that
of
to
it.
my- I still do it to my mom when I hear her on the phone. For some reason, I got all these questions that pop into my head that I need to
Girl, that's my kids. Like, soon as I'm busy doing something, they got so many things to talk to me about. But when I'm not doing anything, they don't even want to be around me.
I'm talking
I
about
couldn't find them if I wanted to.
right.
look. It pops in your head when it pops in your head.
So,
Child.
so you said it was another comment, and I was wondering, like, if someone wants to give us a topic for our next month or something that's listening. We have two been listening. Thank you guys.
Tina said, if your lover or spouse feels lonely, that's what they said. If you want, what are you gonna do? I guess.
If my
Did
lover,
they express it to you? Or you just
Can you
noticed
They
it?
expressed it
Right.
to me.
Question.
oh, I'm gonna say you don't have to be lonely because here I come. I'm coming over.
Then that means that there's
Tina,
a
can you tell
problem.
us what you mean by that?
That if they feel lonely, then that means there's a problem with the intimacy, or there's a problem between you guys if we live
Absolutely.
together and we in a relationship and you feel lonely.
I
Right.
feel like yes, there's a problem, but that doesn't mean that there's a problem in the relationship because, like I said, some men don't feel comfortable just talking to a woman, period, about their issues. So it might be something that's going on in the background that you have no clue about that is making them feel lonely, especially if they are depressed. But a lot of men don't get that mental help because they're men. You know, they're not supposed to be talking about going to counseling and self care. Even though they should, they're not gonna sit here and be like, "Ah, baby, I need a facial real quick."
But I will
Now,
say,
I
like
baby
you
mine,
said,
They
so like
should be able to,
I'm
because
all up
mine
in
do
it. I
all of
want to
that.
know. Like I'm asking questions. I'm
Me
checking up.
too. That's what I'm saying. Like, baby,
I'm
you
running it
okay?
up.
How you feeling today?
I'm all with that.
How you feeling spiritually, mentally? Like, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Let me
but
know.
I have to agree with Mikey. If a man is feeling lonely and we're in a relationship, there is something wrong.
There's a
Because
problem with the relationship.
I have been with someone and the relationship have not been quite what I wanted to be, and I felt lonely, and it was just because the relationship was not giving me what I needed, and so it was just like it wasn't enough. He wasn't meeting my expectations. So at the end of the day, I was still lonely as if I didn't have no one. And I think definitely you need to know, because you shouldn't be lonely
In a relationship.
How did you bring
can
that
be-
to him? Did you ever
Huh?
bring it to him, or
You said what now?
did you ever bring it to him?
No.
Okay.
See, that's what happens. No communication.
You
But
gotta
But you probably didn't feel
communicate.
safe to do it, right?
I did not.
Okay.
Right.
And I feel like it goes both ways with the creating a
We
safe
was having
space.
a fake relationship.
It goes both ways.
She
It
said we
makes
was
each
having a
other.
fake.
It's a give and take.
One day he
It's a
gonna
give and take, and it's always a lot of giving and I mean a lot of taking, but not enough giving.
Right.
Yeah, it was lopsided. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people forget about the other person when they're in a relationship, especially if both of you guys are going through something, which me personally, I think that you guys should look out for. If you guys are both going through something, make sure that your relationship isn't a trauma bond. Because a lot of us trauma bond with each other thinking that we're in love and everything's happy and perfect. And in reality, we just share the same problem. So when that problem ends for one of us, then it's
We don't
like,
share nothing in common no more.
Right.
right. And I feel like a lot
outgrow
of
that
people don't
person. You
spend enough
start having
time
growth.
talking about everything. People talk about what their issues are, they talk about what they want to do next, but as far as actually talking about what they want from the relationship, how they want things to function. I've seen people get married and they never talked about if they wanted kids or not. Never talked about how the household things are going to be ran. You might get married and find yourself in a 50-50 situation and you like, wait a minute,
That's
what?
not what I wanted.
Right.
And then
So,
there we go
okay,
back to
you
that
all said
contract
that.
situation. Look, I need to know what we doing. Like, what are we doing? Talk to me.
Okay,
Let's talk.
so
Like,
since we're
let's
talking
get
about
things straight.
marriage
Yes,
contract,
clarity. I need clarity at all times.
that's a good question. So what do y'all feel about that? Do y'all want a 50-50, 60-40? What's your take
Oh,
on
she
that?
asked this question on here. Uh-oh.
I don't want a 50-50, but I don't mind helping out because like right now, he could do everything by himself, but I don't really want him to because I feel like when men have to focus on everything, then sometimes it puts stress on them. And you can't be at your 100% for me and the kids if you stressed out about how you got to do this and how you got to do that. So that's why I work from home so I can still contribute. So I don't think it should be 50-50, but I don't think that you shouldn't do anything at all.
I think that it should be more. Uh, I like it when we're both helping each other in all parts of our
Right.
life. Like with
Mhm.
like with my boyfriend, he has his history, and I have my stuff. He supports me, and I support him. We do it in different ways. If he cooks, then I'm doing the dishes. If I'm doing the dishes, if I cook, he's doing the dishes. It just, I feel like it should be a balance all the way around. If you see that a bill needs to be paid and you know that I don't have it this month, then and you do, then you should cover it. I don't
Right.
think it should be like, well, baby, you didn't pay your half
Well,
of
I'm gonna need
the
your
light
half when
bill.
you get paid because I paid the whole thing. So I'm gonna need your 52.33 when you get paid. Yeah, we can't do
Yeah,
that shit.
I'm not. We're not doing payback dates. We not
Mm-mm.
together. We
Then we're
really
room. Then I feel like we're roommates that
right.
have sex sometimes.
We're casual roommates.
Right, we have a casual roommate relationship and we do what we do. Because if you talk about you owe me this for this and you owe me that, then we ain't in no relationship.
Now
How
I
do I owe
understand
you?
when there's certain points where you might use that. Like if you know you took something out of another one's savings or something like that, then yeah, out of respect,
Mhm.
you put that back because that was something that they were saving and they took money out to help you. Even though you guys were together, I feel like you should just have that respect to put it back when you took it out. But
It's different situations. Right.
Yeah,
as far
that's
as
what I'm
bills
about
and
to say.
stuff, baby, look, I ain't got that light this month. if you
I ain't
want
got it.
if you want these lights on, you gonna have to pay the other half of that light bill. You
This is a
know.
tough one because for me, I feel like it's all about the dynamic of the specific relationship. Because
Yeah.
you can have one relationship where 50-50 means financial or household things or vice versa or both. But then you can have another relationship where it's a different dynamic. So you may not have to ever worry about financial responsibility or you may not ever have to worry about cooking. Maybe you married a chef. Maybe they love to cook. You know what I'm saying? And before the person couldn't,
Hmm.
cook anything. So I think it depends on the
The
relationship and
people in the
what y'all
relationship.
agree
Right.
to, right? Like whatever works best for you guys. And I think also, again, I'm all about the um evolving, growth, and building. So it's like, can I trust you, right? Do I know that you're going to step in any area that you see fit, and vice versa? And I think
Right.
that's really what it's about. It's not necessarily kind of like you guys were saying, keeping tabs. If you got me like you're supposed to have me, then everything is gonna, go like it needs to go.
Mhm.
Right. And as far as kids go, I feel like that's a conversation you should have before you decide to commit your lives to each other. Because if you get married and you find out she don't never want to have kids, but you want a whole football team,
Right.
then you didn't marry this person that wasn't what you wanted. So now you're unhappy
Mhm.
because she doesn't want kids.
You have
And
to
deeper into the kid discussion, we also need to talk about how we want to raise these children because we can have totally different ideals on how we want to rear these children up. So you might want kids and I want kids, but you want to raise them ABC and I want to do XYZ.
right.
Especially if you're entering a relationship with someone that has kids already, you
Mhm.
want to know what their boundaries are when it comes to their kids. You want to
Right.
know what type of discipline they want you to use on their kids. Even though yes, this is a partnership, we're supposed to be raising these kids together. If we're going to raise them together, we need to be on the same page of how they're being raised.
Right.
Like
Well,
I
that's
might
where
not
the
want you to
other
hit my
parent
kids.
comes in. That's where the other parent comes in too, though. Like if the other parent is still around, then that's when we all have to have a conversation,
I
me, you,
agree.
and them,
All
and we
three.
all need to figure out what we're gonna do with these kids because you have to respect him as their father, and he has to respect you as my husband. So we have to all sit down and have that talk, or
That
And
vice
goes.
versa if it's a woman and his new wife or whatever. Because I've already had to go through that.
and
That,
I
yeah.
hate when men have baby mamas. It's not their fault. It is what it is. They have a baby mama that doesn't want to know the person that their baby daddy is with. And I'm like,
Right.
you kind of have to because you don't know who you might catch something that he didn't. You don't want you want to meet the person that your kids are gonna be around whenever they're having their daddy or mommy time.
Right.
Girl,
And you
that's
need
a
to be
must.
able to be cordial instead of trying to compete with the new person in their life. Why are you doing that? It clearly didn't work. It didn't work for a reason.
And that
Take
could
that out of
possibly
it when you raising these kids.
be a deal breaker. That's a huge one, right? And there's so many things that can break up marriages, but I think that's like a really big one.
And for me,
Hmm.
I don't look at it as a deal breaker, but I look at it
I
as
do.
something that needs to
Whatever.
be.
Me too, Mikey. It's definitely a
If
deal
that's the
breaker.
case, if you don't, because I mean, you might have. I don't feel like your baby mama should be the one that's stopping you from being happy. Just like I wouldn't want a man to not want to be with me because my baby daddy doesn't want to have that conversation with him. I would rather you not talk to me than to sit here and cause problems at my house. I would rather you not talk to me than for you to be trying to bust out his windows at 3 o'clock in the morning and the alarm is going off and now the baby's is awake, traumatized, and I am too. I'd rather you keep your energy to yourself. We don't have to actually be best friends, but I need to know what you and him agreed on. So then
But a
that way,
lot of times it's because she's bitter. A lot of
Yeah.
times it's because she's bitter and she has a problem with him moving on or him not wanting to be with her. Because when mine moved on, I told him, I was like, look, I don't care if you sleep with every heifer in the hood, but whoever you gonna be with and this you calling this your girlfriend, I'm gonna need to meet her before she's around my children. We're gonna need to talk. Period. Like I don't care about if you move on because I don't want you anymore. So if you have a problem with the new person, it's usually because there's some unresolved stuff here.
Right.
Yeah, exactly what you just touched on. So I was gonna say
and
that. Well, hold on one second. So
you
for
know,
me, I think it's like, how did he handle it? Right? If you're in that situation with the man, why is that not resolved? Because I feel like you should make sure that that's resolved before you even enter in with someone else, because you don't even want to bring them into that.
honestly, sometimes it can't be, and
True.
I say that because a lot of times these women will let their son or daughter be around the man that they're no longer with anymore, their dad, but they just simply don't want to be involved with you. They don't mind the kid being around you, which I've had situations like that where they don't mind the kid being around me, their own issues. That's why I said, you can keep your issues to yourself. I don't care how you feel about me for real, as long as it's not coming toward me.
But
You
it
know,
affects
you,
you if you're the step parent and you
um,
guys are supposed to be all, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to get along.
I'm with
It
you,
takes a
Peggy. So
village. It takes
didn't
a village.
really, it didn't really affect me when it happened to me,
But when that kid gets,
honestly.
okay, go ahead.
But the only thing is that he made sure that both of us understood that one, we're not going to be talking to the kids about each other in a negative light. We're not going. He set those boundaries up
I'm
to
glad
where
you said that because
to
that's what
where
I was gonna
But
say. As
again,
the
he
middle
did that.
person, That's your responsibility as the, like,
exactly.
for me as the baby's mother, and I have a child's father, and about to be a husband. It's my point to set the tone on how they deal with each other, because
Right.
I'm the common denominator.
Like even in my relationship now, he won't let me disrespect his baby mama,
You're not
but he
supposed
also
to.
won't let her disrespect me. I feel like a lot of men that get in these situations like to see the women fight over them instead of actually being a man and taking control of the situation and being like, look, y'all can't be disrespectful to each other, and especially not around the kids. Y'all don't want to meet each other,
I
fine,
agree.
but don't bring that into these kids' lives. Make sure
Right.
that it still looks cordial when y'all around each other. If she got to pick up the kids and I'm there and he's not, we gonna keep it cordial
That's what I'm
because
saying. It
That's
has
how it's
to be.
supposed to be for them kids. Because if we're trying to teach them and usher them into a productive adulthood, and us as adults, we can't even get along. What are we showing them? I don't care what we went through as adults. Once we split up, our job is to peacefully coexist and raise these children into productive adults. So if you have a new boo and I have a new boo, then we're going to have to come together and be a village. There shouldn't be no dissension between the adults. It shouldn't be like, F that B, I'm going to beat him up. It should be none of that, because we're leaders and these children are following us and we're telling them how to act. You need to be courteous to people. You need to be kind. And then we're over here and we can't even get along for 20 minutes when we're around each other as
and
So,
even
adults.
if
so
and even if
Sheena,
you don't come and pick up the kids, even if you guys have a meeting point where y'all go and y'all pick up the kids and they come, I don't care how you work it out, just don't bring drama to my house or to my kids' ears.
I had to do
You
that for a while. We
so
had to drop the babies off at grandma's house. You drop them
Sheena,
off, I'll pick them up.
Sheena,
That's
that girl
fine.
Howard says you have to create your village when you have blended families, and I think that goes
Mhm.
back to what I was saying. It's impossible, really, especially like once that kid starts getting older. They got games, they got this, that. You know what I mean? Like all types of stuff. So I just would rather, have it be that way. And when I say it's a deal breaker, I mean, not necessarily saying that if we don't have the best relationship, it can't happen, but it's a deal breaker if the person that is in the middle has not done their part.
Right. And
I
Sheena
agree.
said you have to create your village when you have blended families, which is
Yeah, that's what I just said.
right.
That's what I had to do. But like you said, because you're the common denominator, you have to set the tone for the bridging. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the one that's in the middle of them. So if there's problems, it's because, like she said, I didn't set the tone right. Just
Right.
like with the men.
And even if you guys do need to communicate, even some men set it up to where, all right, we and you gonna communicate, and what we feel is okay, I'll present it to her, but I'm not gonna present it to her like, oh, me and such feel like this should be.
I
It
just feel
creates
like
problems.
people just need to grow up, because it shouldn't be none of that. Do you know that my children's father, his wife calls me? I don't even talk to him. She'll call me
And
like, "Hey,
I'm
baby
saying,
mama, what's up?" I'll be like, "Hey, wifey, what's up?
I mean, in
When
a
we gonna meet up and
situation
drop the kids
where,
off?"
that isn't um exactly mature. You and him could be mature about the situation, but that doesn't necessarily mean she will be. And that's why I said I don't think that his happiness should be affected because of his baby mama who decides to be immature about the situation. No, if you have to be in the middle and you are the person communicating with her, I'd rather you do that to keep peace. I don't want or her feel comfortable enough to just walk into my house and start causing issues. That's why I would rather you guys have that meeting point. Me and you talk about something. If you decide to bring it to her attention, that's what you decide to do. But and that's only if she does not want to meet me, and if it's because of her own issues.
It is because of her own issues. Because people need to grow the heck up and realize that kids know and see and hear a lot more than we give them credit for. So even when you think you tiptoeing and everything is all good, kids realize stuff is not right. Kids know they may not know all the underlying issues and all the adult details, but kids know what's going on and they know y'all being fake.
No, that's a great
That's a
point.
good
That
discussion.
energy does not lie, and kids pick up on that. That is a great point. That's why I'm saying, for me personally, it has to
It's
be
a
a
deal breaker
unit.
for
It
me.
has to be a unit
It's a deal breaker if it's not a unit. I'm not doing it. I'm not going
because
to
I
be
don't
involved
even
in
want to do
trauma.
that to that kid. Like I want to be
That,
able to give all of me to that kid, and if I can't do that,
then what are we doing
And
here?
a lot of times, sometimes the moms do come around later. Sometimes they just want to see if you're going to stick around before they even decide to
true.
invest time. Now, once they get it in their head that, okay, he's really with her and we're really not getting back together, some of them do take that step and be like, okay, fine. If the heifer going to be around, I guess.
That's true. I've seen it happen.
But then there's also some that still stick with that attitude and give you that energy regardless of what you do.
And
Me,
I
I'm
can't
a
be
nice
with her
person.
children's father. I can't be with her baby daddy.
I'm gonna be a nice person. Um, I'm gonna come to you openly. I'm gonna be nice to you 100% from the jump. Even if you're not nice to me now, I might have my comments in my head, but I'm still gonna keep it respectful. So then that way there's no issues when the babies are involved. Like it's damaging to sit there as adults and argue and cuss in front of kids.
But it's
Like
damaging to see that you guys are sitting around each other for 30 minutes and won't even speak to each other. All that stuff
no,
is
that's why I
damaging.
said, meeting points. If you don't want to meet me, fine. Y'all can do y'all meeting points. Mommy and daddy is talking. Y'all having a good time. Oh, I gotta go to work or something. You know, I feel like there's ways around it. I don't think that it has to solely be the only way to deal with things, and that's only because I've seen other people do it, including myself. So it just depends on the person, I think,
The
on
people
what
involved.
right.
If
And
it's
that's something
comfortable
that
for
I
y'all,
wanted to
then it's
talk about
comfortable
too.
for y'all. Everything
I
that
think
you do may not be, comfortable to me and vice versa.
right, and I think that that's something else that we got to talk about because a lot of people we go to our friends and stuff for relationship advice, but I'm starting to notice now that when you go to your friends for a relationship advice, some things that you don't really find a big deal or you don't really find a deal breaker, they would. And they'll be like, girl, you need to leave. Why? Because that's their deal breaker. That's what they would do. If that was the case and everybody had the same mind, that means that I'm everybody's wife and you everybody's husband. Because
But not only that, when you vent to them and be like, "Girl, he did this to me," because I got 3 sisters. So when you vent to them and you like, "Girl, he did this, he did that," you forgive him tomorrow. They don't.
Right.
all
Absolutely.
right.
You
And I
forgive him,
had
and
to
they like,
learn.
"F him. We ain't messing with him because he did this to you 6 months ago." You like, "Girl, I done moved on. He done did some more shit. I done forgave him for that too." Like, come on.
We done got married and all, and you
Right.
still
You
mad.
can't vent. You can't vent to everybody. You can't vent to everybody.
Right. And I feel like if you're going to vent to somebody, make sure that it's somebody that knows how to take their own personal feelings out of it. Like I can't vent to you and you're giving me advice based off of your own trauma.
Right.
Like you're telling me, oh girl, you can't trust him. He around his homeboys all the time. That means something, and he might not even be with his homeboy. Girl, I think you need to end that. And in reality, it's not even that deep, and you not even that upset about it. It just upset you for that moment. Like Mikey said, you be mad about it that night, and then that next morning you be fine.
You cooking them breakfast the next morning.
Mhm.
Thought you been quiet.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Oh,
I'm waiting for you to input.
right.
Oh, I don't know, y'all.
I mean, coming from the woman who said that she's the only one who has been married and divorced, she's the most quiet on this subject. So I'm gonna need you to
Because
divulge a little bit
Right.
more.
because I know that people are watching this. Sometime when I say stuff, I'm just pulling back. And so on this episode, I did, but you caught it.
Yeah, I've been caught it. I just didn't say nothing.
I didn't
Sorry,
either.
I
I
had
just,
to eventually clear
I
the
let
air.
it be.
I'm
Y'all
like,
doing a
it's a
good,
reason she being quiet. I'm gonna listen.
Right. She got
y'all
to
doing a
listen.
good job. But yeah. Mm-mm.
Look, she can't even speak. Speechless.
Oh man, I didn't
Well,
mean to
how
do
do
that
you
to
feel
you.
about the
Don't worry
friends
about it.
venting to friends about their relationship?
You said what?
Huh?
How do you feel about friends venting to friends about their relationship?
Oh, I mean, that's okay. A lot of my friends vent. I vent too, but I just feel like certain things. Let me tell you something that I won't do though. If I see your husband or your man cheating,
I'm not telling you.
I'm not
I'm
gonna
not
open
telling
my
you.
mouth
I'm
because
out of it.
yeah, because I don't get in that.
Mm-mm.
No, no, ma'am, no,
I've
ma'am.
been in them situations before, and it never turns out good on your behalf because
I,
all he's gonna do is tickle her under her chin and say some little sweet nothings in her ear, and now she mad at you. And you done
right,
seen him all at the hotel motel with some lady coming out.
right. I'm not. I don't get in that. I don't get in, especially.
Me neither.
I don't get it. And then I'm also very careful when I'm giving people advice. I mainly be a listener. And it just depends on how well I know the person. I tread real lightly because 9 times out of 10, they're going to be right back together and lovey-dovey. And then you're mad at the person. So I've learned to just listen. And
Yeah, that's a great point. I started doing that
Mm-hmm.
a lot more. Just because for me, I found that giving my advice 9 times out of 10, they don't take it. But at the same time, I do sometimes say certain things if I feel it's important because I'll know that as a friend, at least I did say it.
right.
And then after
You
that,
feel
what
like
they
it's your
do with it
obligation, right?
is what they do with
Mhm.
it. Yeah.
She right.
But I'm
Right.
not gonna be
You right
mad either
there.
way. 'Cause I know like y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do. So
Mm-hmm.
You know, matters of the heart are touchy, and when people are
yeah.
all in love, you can't tell them nothing about their significant other. I don't care what you say. Until
Right.
those rose-colored glasses come off and they get to seeing stuff for what it really is, you can't tell them nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But then they also get mad at you if they find out that you knew
And you
that
didn't know.
and you didn't tell them. So at this point, I'm gonna just tell you, like, girl, look, I saw such and such here with this person. I don't know who the person is. That's your business. If you want to figure that out, ain't got nothing to do with this. I just thought as a
I'm
friend
not
I
I'm
should let
not
you
I'm
know.
not saying nothing if I seen him and you weren't there. Now me and my sister, we were driving one day and we stopped at the stoplight like this. And I said, ain't that your man, sis? But that ain't you sitting next to him. Now, if it happened like that, that's different. But if I see it and you not there, girl, I don't have nothing to do with it. If what's done in
That's
the dark will
that's
come to the light.
that's
Absolutely.
correct. That
Mm-hmm.
part.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find out. I just found out before you.
I've had situations where I tried to say like someone has brought something to me. It wasn't even like so like what Tot was saying, I tread lightly. So I don't necessarily offer up advice, but if you bring it to me, I'll shed light on my opinion. But I've had situations where I was just sharing my opinion and the person got defensive. So I'm like, well,
Mhm.
this is why I tread lightly. And then, it's just kind of like you just kind of pull back more and more and you learn what to say and what not to say.
Right. You learn from
Right.
experience on how to navigate some of those type of relationships. I mean, I have, said something to my friends sometime, it'll just be because you have literally beat me with this conversation every day. And so finally I'm tired. And then you may say something that I think is real, I don't want to say stupid, but and
Ding
then
ding.
I may just say something because at this point I'm tired. It's like he married. Okay.
Hmm.
Mm.
Leave him alone. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I just keep my mouth closed. And Because I done made my own mistakes myself, so I can't judge
That
nobody.
part, I don't tell anybody what to do in a relationship. I never say do this, do that. I just if someone's going through something, and I'll be like, dang, that's kind of messed up, or I hope it works
Mhm.
out, or something like that. But nothing further than that. I don't make any demands.
I do, but I do it in a way. I say, what I would do in this situation.
Right. I'll
And I
do
do
one of
like
those too.
advice
Like, well,
giver.
if it were me in this
If it were me.
situation, I
Right.
would.
Because I like for folks to be real too, but I mean, I guess it just depends on what type of relationship that you have with that person, and if
Yes.
you feel whether or not you can say something. Because not everybody is welcoming stuff, but they'll bring something to you because they want you to listen, but they don't really want a solution. So you just
Right.
gotta know. You just gotta know who you're talking to. So I just try to go in a little bit. But if I just really, really just love the person and I just can't hold it.
I'm telling you, like it depends on the person. Like if
Yeah,
like I have some friends to where I feel like we're friends to where I should be able to tell you anything.
right.
Like I shouldn't have to lie to you. I shouldn't have to hold anything back now because I love you. I will keep your feelings in mind and try to, make sure that I don't hurt your feelings. But
Right.
I should be able to tell you the truth. You're my friend.
Right. And and I'll say this because I know we run out of time. When I love a person, then I'm not gonna lie, it'd be hard for me not to really say something to them just
Me
because
too.
I, really care about them, but I still tread lightly. But at
Mhm.
the same time, I think I just kind of say it in a way where they can receive it. But I'm never getting in that marital stuff. Like, and I'm
No,
never telling when I see somebody because I'm just
me
not
neither.
in
I'm
that.
not.
That's just no, I'm not gonna go there. But this has been a great conversation, guys.
It was,
Yeah.
ladies.
We've been on here a minute.
Well,
This is
when
our
the
third
conversation
interview today.
starts
I'm
getting
sorry.
good,
I'm
that's when the
sorry.
time flies.
Right.
We did. And Kayla, you should be tired too, because Kayla had an interview with me today. So we've been going at it a long time.
Yeah.
So
Alrighty.
I'm tired already thinking about the things I have to do when we get off of here.
That part.
same thing. 'Cause I'm about to my employee, she came to visit me today. And so my
Girl, mine
employee,
left on vacation and ain't came back.
my employee got to make some reels.
Mine left and ain't came back. Came back. I thought she came back and she
Vegetarian.
came back to get some clothes.
Right. Let me
I
tell
said,
you,
"Ain't this
I did
something?"
not pay my employee this week because I paid her for the last 2 weeks and she produced no reels. So today is her payday. I did not pay her today because the only way she's
Excuse
going
me.
to get paid today, she
You
has
too? You didn't pay your employee either? Because I didn't pay mine today either. Because you've been gone for a whole week.
Excuse me. I think I should get her check because I did her job for her this week. And you too, Miss Mikey. I made everybody's reels for the week. I feel personally.
You should saw my baby eyes. She listened. She was like,
Like, wait a minute, don't give my money away. Wait a minute now, hold up. Mine would have been in the
You didn't
background
do
if
your
she heard it
job,
too. Like, I
ma'am.
don't know Kayla, but Kayla can't have my money.
"You heard her, baby."
You're like, no.
I love it. All right, who's gonna sign us on off here?
Well,
Go
it's been a
ahead.
good show. Appreciate y'all for listening and staying on. And hopefully, you got some good nuggets from all of us. And until next time,
See you guys later.
bye.
Good night.
Right.
Yeah, I'm due for Exit. Oh, we had 13 comments. What is it? Oh, it's just talking about that. She was so sweet. She my biggest supporter. How do I end? Here we go. Leave studio. All right.